What's going on YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius character showcase, and we're talking all about Kingdom Hearts 3 Neovision Sora, the LB damage dealing fiend. We're going to talk about his passives, his builds, and then like you guys have been wanting to see, his rotation. Let's get into it. Before I start reviewing Sora, I need your help. Listen, I know I've talked about the Amazon deal a couple of times now. It's not about that exactly. Look at these votes. FFBE, you're watching this video because you play FFBE, is losing to War of the Visions by something like 40 votes. Guys, click, I'm going to put the Discord link only. Like, it's not even about the deal right now. It's about winning this vote off to show that FFBE has a stronger community, and that's us, baby, and I want us to win. Join that Discord. Click the team vote, vote for FFB. You react to the vote. There's two things. You can watch my past video to see me exactly do it. I need FFB to win. I'm calling out to you guys. Give me your energy. Help me out. This is for bragging rights, and I can't lose. So thank you guys. Let's talk about Sora. So let's start off with his Stmr, which is the best thing that he has going for him out of the two, TMR or Stmr. This thing is insane. You've been hearing about me talk about it for a while, but just in case you haven't, boost attack by 80%, boost LB damage by 75%. Guys, I will highly suggest if you get two Soras to, the one Sora, if you get him to EX +2, it will give you that 100% Stmr Moogle for Sora specifically, but before you turn one of those Soras into fragments for the other Sora, I'd use a 100% Stmr Moogle on this bad boy. This is without a doubt, like normally I'm kind of tentative because I don't know who to tell, XYZ, what units they have, what characters they have, where they should be using their Moogles, because I don't want to screw anybody over. This right here is a no-brainer. It's like every unit that comes out is doing LB damage now, and this thing is insane. Get your hands on as many as you can. Moving over to his TMR, not the greatest thing in the world, can only be used on him or the past Sora, and then I honestly am not even using it in his builds, because I'll be using the STMR in his build, so we'll be fine there with the TMR ability that he gets from his passives. So we're going to go over just a general how Sora is going to work. You're going to build him up a little bit on his Brave Shifted or his normal form, and then when you Brave Shift, he's an LB damage light chaining master. He does a ton of LB damage, and then he can also chain pretty good on this side as well and still output damage while waiting to have his LB ready to go. He will be tied to the light element, so that may be something that throws people off. So he's kind of niche in that way. Strictly speaking, just that he will excel when light damage is not a problem, but if light damage is a problem, he will be hindered a little bit, guys, so that's something to know about. Both sides can be built true double hand or true dual wield. Each side does prefer, I'll put in quotation marks, one or the other. On the normal side, he has 150% true dual wield and 100% true double hand, so it's easier to build true dual wield. On the other side, however, he has 200% true double hand and only 100 true dual wield. But still at the same time, you can make it work, right? It just makes one of the ways easier, and he's very, very easy to build in that because of that, you know what I mean? It opens up all of your items to be available to him, your weapons, etc. So that's something really nice about Sora. When we're talking about his killers, he only has one type of killer on each side, but it is a ton of it. On his normal side, he has 150% magic and physical fairy killer. And then when you Brave Shift him over where you'll be doing his big LB damage, he has 150% human killer, which a lot of the times we are fighting humans. So it turns out to be very, very good. But you will be switching between the two in fights. So that, sometimes you won't be able to take advantage of those killers, sadly, because that's not the enemy type you'll be fighting. Or even if you are fighting that type, you will have to switch between the two. So sometimes your damage won't be taking advantage of that. Next up, something that's really important to talk about Sora is this side of him, his normal side, has 50% physical evade, which is kind of insane. I mean, that's just straight passives. He has a 20% passive and a 30% passive from what I can remember, but it adds up to 50%. And so he's going to be evading a lot of physical attacks. There's a lot of AoE physical attacks out there that become a problem. You can even try to use King Bradley's eye patch if you guys still have that to try to build him up even more evade, so you don't really have to worry about that nasty AoE physical that you have to worry about. On his other side, he only has 30%, but that's still really good to have passively. Very, very nice as well. Both sides have innate dual wield if you would like to be building them that way. So again, guys, he doesn't really have too much in terms of support. He really doesn't have a lot. The one thing he does have is he can boost everybody's light damage by, I think, 15% here with this ultimate finish move. And he has some other stuff. That's really all we got to talk about. He has guts. He has, every unit has that. If we look at his, let's take a look at his traits here. He does not have nullification to confuse or petrify. I think on both sides he's missing it. Oh, he gets confusion here, but that might be from my items actually, because I do have equipment on. Don't worry about the equipment on this Sora. That is the auto optimizer, and as you can see, I am going to be using Riku's vision card. I will not be using Sora's because Riku's gives us that nice Keyblade wielder, giving us that LB damage boost up, because we're going to switch over to his Brave Shift side, which I really should have the other side built up too, but I haven't gotten it yet. You want to build him with as much killer, LB damage, and attack as you can. And this build's going to be a little bit weird because I do have Furion's bow and I am using equip bow. This right here, weapon specialist, is just my killer slot for whatever I need. So I'm going to go through this a little bit slowly here so you guys can look at it. Again, Riku's glove. This banner is full of TMRs and STMRs that are good for LB damage dealers. So that's this side. You guys can pause if you want. This is the other side. You can build him true dual wield on this side. I prefer to build him true dual wield on both sides. If, you know, that's what I think the general builds are going to be, to make sure you fed all the killers and all the attack that you want. But if you want to get a little bit spicy, Mars helped me out with this build right here, dude. It is very, very nice. He was like, you got that Furion, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, look at this. And I'm like, okay, dudes. Because Furion's bow, you know, it does give you that nice LB damage, and then, you know, some other killers, and then boost equipment attack 100% when armed with one-handed weapons. It gives you everything Sora kind of wants, so it's very, very good for Sora. We did have to take the hit on equip bow, but if we look at the details here, and again, the other side is going to be used, so you want to build the other side as much attack and killers as you can. You don't have to worry about the LB damage on his normal side. That's only on this side. But you can see that I have a little bit over cap on LB damage, but I'm okay with that. LB fill rate's up pretty good. LB return's pretty good. Physical evasion 30% like we talked about. And then he has a lot of killers, and that's going to be changed depending on, and my attack is all the way at 400%. That is going to be depending on what I'm going to be fighting. And then if we switch over to this side, you can see that I also have the true double hand cap ready to go at 400 like we talked about. I'm a little over on the attack there. I haven't even taken this thing through item world yet. And the problem with that is this killer right here does give me 60%, but you know, I'm going to be down 20%. That's why I need to take this bow through the good old... This is the STMR of NV Furion, by the way. I'm going to take it through item world and get a little bit better there. But overall, I'm really happy with my build on this side of Sora, and I'm really glad that I got a use out of that NV Furion. So next, we're going to show you guys what his rotation is and how to use him. Sora's about to beat the shit out of this wooden soldier, and I love it. On the left side, you can see that we have the rotation. If it says Brave Shift, you better be in your Brave Shift form, or you're going to be wondering why you cannot find those abilities. We're going to start off with Stun Impact. Stun Impact's going to be his attack buff along with an Imbue, which is great. Every unit has this. We want to be using it. Infinity is really, really cool. It does a crap ton of damage on top of the fact that it also will break. It's not meta breaks, but it's still going to be pretty good if you can't fit a meta breaker into your squad. And then also Imperil by 120%. So this is a very big damage dealing ability. And then we're going to go with Speed Slash. Now, Speed Slash is not going to be doing as much damage as some of his other abilities. We're going to be using Sunray Blast for that, for his chaining on this side. However, we do need to make sure he has his LB ready to go by turn 3. This is like the safe build, because obviously you could do other things, or you could get lucky and get it before then. But that's why we're casting it, is to make sure we can get that LB up, because Sora does have a big LB gauge, in my opinion. It takes a little bit longer than other chainer, or excuse me, meta LB damage dealers to fill up. So now we're going to Brave Shift over, which is great. We're going to go with Triple Command, and we're going to go ahead and use a Falling Slash ability. So this is going to be just like Speed Slash, again, to try to fill up his LB. Then we're going to head down and use Radiant Brands, which is going to be deal light damage to one enemy and boost our LB damage by 250%. This is huge, guys. This is going to make sure that our LB does a lot of damage. We're going to go ahead and tap that right here. And then we're going to use Ultimate Finish, damage one enemy, boost physical attacks of light by 15% and his LB, all that kind of good stuff. This is going to do a lot of damage. Again, it's 81 times multiplier, going to chain up, and then also is going to boost all the damage we're going to do with the rest of the time with Sora. So you want to make sure you have this on him at all times, and that's going to be our turn 2. So we're building everything up. We're using our LB damage boost and our light damage boost. So now we're good to go. We're going to go with his LB this turn because we have all the attack buff, Imperil, light damage. Look at that. It is a sick LB, dude. It is a very good one. He does a little spin move there. So that's going to be his big damage turn. Then we're going to switch back into normal Sora form. And you can see we have to wait 3 turns before we can go back and kind of repeat the same Brave Shift turns that you see above in the rotation. So what are we doing now? Well, we're going to go into Flash Step. which is going to damage one enemy and add light elementals to our attacks. We want to make sure that we have light and view on. Then we're going to move over to Stellar Inception, which is going to be right down here. Damage one enemy and boost damage of certain abilities. So this is going to have you guys do more chaining damage and boost up some of those abilities you want to be using. And specifically, Sunray Blast is what we're going to use this for. So we're going to go with Stellar Inception, and then we're just going to start doing that Sunray Blast damage. So that's going to be his main damage dealing move, and you're going to chain up. You can see that all these buffs, these debuffs, everything chains, which is beautiful because you can still be doing damage even on, we'll put in quotation marks, off turns. So for the next part, we're going to go ahead and go with double Sunray Blast, because again, that's his main chaining ability. And then we're going to hit with Infinity again. It's just a big damage dealing hit, 81 times multiplier, and then also add the Imperil back. But we're really using it, we're using it for the Imperil now, but you can see that we're going to use it next turn as well, and that is specifically so that we can just do more damage because it has a high multiplier there. So it's very important. We're running out of MP, but that's okay. Normally you would have somebody giving you guys MP. We're going to go down, we're going to use Sun Impact again, that way that we have our attack buff, and if you're buffing, I guess, 300% attack elsewhere, you won't need this. We're going to Sunray Blast, and then I'm out of MP, but we would be using Infinity here to finish off our turns before we could Brave Shift again. So I'm just going to use Sunray Blast, look at the turn rotation, that's what you're going to be using. And then now we can finally Brave Shift again, which is going to be great. And you're going to follow the same rotation up top. Even if you could LB damage, you do not want to LB damage before you cast Radiant Brands to give you that 250% up. And then you also want to be casting, again, like we talked about, Ultimate Finish to give us that 15%. Just to add that little bit more to his attacks and make it work. It's going to be beautiful. On the, okay, let's say the battle keeps going. You're 20 turns in somehow with Sora, and you're out of Infinity, okay? You need to replace that with another Imperil, or you can just do Sunray Blast and blast it off, depending if you have anybody else that can light Imperil for you. But Sunray Blast is going to be your go-to move if you have nothing else to do and you just want to do damage, like you're buffed, you're debuffed, everything, all that stuff's good. Sunray Blast is going to be the way to go on that side, and normally you're not going to be able to stay in this Brave Shift form long enough, besides just the LB and get out. So that's going to be Sora in a nutshell. Pretty easy to use, right, guys? He has everything he needs in his kit to be doing that light damage, along with being able to chain on pretty much every one of his moves but Stun Impact. Like every other move chains, which is kind of insane. I like that a lot. But hopefully this helped you guys out with his rotation. Before we get out of here, guys, I do want to talk about his different Brave abilities to enhance. You do want to enhance all of them, honestly, because we have two on this side with the Sunray Blast and the Speed Slash. Obviously, both of these abilities we saw in the rotation we need to use. We switch back over Ultimate Finish and Speed Slash. Again, we've already talked about using Speed Slash on the other side, but Ultimate Finish we also use. It gives us that LB up. You are going to want to do all of them, and there's no specific order because this is a limited time event, and that's pretty much how all the Brave insignias are, honestly. So you need to make sure you get this done. Get them all done. They all are needed. The next thing I want to talk about before I skip over it is going to be his TMR STMR ability. This is where you're going to get 50% damage boost. The 20% in the LB fill rate is fine, but this is pretty big when you're trying to build up to that 300%. It's actually very, very strong. So you want to make sure that you have his STMR on him, not only because it's amazing, but to get this passive. Again, his TMR isn't the greatest, so you're probably not running that. But maybe you could on his normal side, I guess. On his non-Brave shifted side, you might want to go with that. I just still need to build him up. But overall, that's Sora, guys. He's awesome, amazing. I love using him. His animations are good. He's a very, very good limited time character from a design standpoint, in my opinion. They did him justice. At least they did my boy justice, which is great. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Go vote on that Discord thing. I don't want to lose. If you want to take part in the deal, $1 for $10, that's great. But I need the votes, dude. I need the votes. Subscribe for future FFBE content. Catch me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Claic Yuzolt. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.